Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett here from sunny Cyprus, and today's video is all about the self-nomination for an educator to become an MIE Expert or a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert. I'm going to go over the process of where you go to sign up, creating your profile, starting your self-nomination, and where you can temporarily save, having a look at the questions, what are the requirements, and an explanation of those questions so you can understand what it is that you have to answer essentially. Now, there are some questions that you're going to need to answer which are to do with the use of some of the technology, and I'm not going to give you the answers to those because you really do need to deserve to get this status. Now, if you find this video tutorial useful, give it a like, make sure you subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go to msedu.eventcore.com, and from there you're going to click on register now or sign in. You're going to sign in with a school 365 account, so work or school account, and from there you're going to enter your email address. This is a sample email address I've created just so that I can demonstrate for you. Work or school account, and then you enter your password. Okay, now that you've entered your password, it doesn't matter if you click yes or no, especially if you're using the incognito window. If it's the first time that you're signing in, then you're going to get a start button. Just click on start so you can create your profile. And this is the window to create your profile if you don't have an account. So I'm entering my first name and last name here. The personal email address, well, that's going to be an address which is not your 365 account. Remember, if you do leave the place of employment that you're at, you want to still be able to access your account, and you need to just copy paste that or just type it in again to confirm. The school organization email address, well, that's your 365 account which your school has given you. Now, which email address do you want communications to be sent? I'm going to use my school one. Now, your home address and shipping address, this is going to be your actual address where you live. I'm just using a fake address here, so I'm not going to be expecting a whole load of junk mail from everybody. The city, the country, zip postal code, make sure you add your postal code. It's not necessary. Now, the school information, that's where you're going to add your school's name and address. So I'll just enter this information in quickly for you. Okay, the school is part of a district Ministry of Education network of schools. We're actually part of the Ministry of Education. Your title, I'm just going to put teacher here. Obviously, you're going to put the title which represents you. The street address of the school. City. And, of course, the country. Okay, so once you've done that, postal code, again, not necessary. I'm just going to put something random. Okay, the next part is the school institution organization website. So it's going to be your website. You have to put the whole URL. So you have to put the http://. You can't just start from the www. Your current role at the school. Now, again, the rest of these, make sure you're answering these, legitimately. If you've got another title which is not there, of course, you can see that you've got the other. If you want to be sent communication, you can click those two ticks at the bottom there. That's entirely up to you. And when you finish, just click on submit. Okay, now this is your account. From your account, you can see I can edit my personal information. It's got my name there, and it's got my account ID number. That's your ID number. And from here, you can do your self-nominations, which you're going to go to do your MIE Expert nomination. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close that window. I'm going to open an incognito window, and I'm going to sign in again so you can see what it's like if you've already got an account and you're signing into your account. So you won't have to go through the whole nomination process, the whole personal details process again. Click on register now, sign in, work or school, enter your email address, password, and now you're going to see that again opens up the same page, only your personal details are already there. You can obviously edit them if you want to. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you already had an account. So the next step that you're going to be following is to be creating a new nomination. So I'm going to click on add new self-nomination, and you want to choose the nomination you want. So you're going to choose the Microsoft Innovative Education MIE Experts nomination, unless you're going to be applying for your school to join the incubator program. So MIE Experts, save and submit, and that's now going to start your nomination process. It's going to show you your personal details first. Just make sure those are correct. Save and submit. And from here we begin the process. You can see there's a whole load of questions here, things that you're going to have to fill in, some answers that you're going to have to give to some questions, and some long answer questions as well. So we're going to start going through this now. So is your school an incubator school or showcase school? Ours is actually a showcase school. Enter the name of your school. Yep, it's actually found me. Right, enter the age of age range of students that you teach, the subjects that you teach. So I'm mainly in computing and a few other things as well. For example, we do CET, Communication Electronics Technology. So I'm just going to add that because that's not part of the list. Okay, and then you're going to have a look at the rest of them. So do your students, learners have access to internet at school? Now this is basically if they've got internet access. Do they have internet access at home? What our students do, and you can just answer honestly there. What technology do your students, learners primarily use for learning? I'm going to choose a laptop Chromebook. We've actually got the Lenovo 300 devices, but they also use their mobile phones and some tablets as well. From here, you're going to add links to your social media. If you've got a Twitter account, a Facebook account, Instagram account, all of these accounts. It's being an MIE expert is all about sharing with other educators, and one way you do that is by using social media. So you're going to put links to your, let's say, YouTube channel, to your profile page of Twitter, so on and so forth. What devices do you regularly use? And you're going to tick all the apply. Now this is what you use. I use 365 apps and Microsoft Teams and Chromebooks. And then the next question is similar, but this is the types of devices and things that the school uses or the organization. So again, I'm going to say exactly the same things because it's the same things that we use. With what other EdTech communities are you connected with? Now, be honest here, guys. There's no point just adding things if you're not. It's not a competition who's connected with the most things. Just if you, for example, I know some teachers use Kahoot. I don't. I use Flipgrid. I'm a Minecraft Global Mentor, so I'm going to add that. And I'm a Screenbean expert and a Wakelet ambassador. So that's all. I don't need to add more than that. If you've taken any courses from Microsoft Learn, then tick yes. Well, if you haven't, then you really need to, because that's part of the compulsory requirements. You need to add the link to your profile in Microsoft Learn. So I've just gone into Microsoft Learn here. I've clicked on my profile, and I'm going to click at the top in the URL, copy the URL, and that's the URL to my profile in Microsoft Learn, and I'm going to paste that there. So there you go. That's my the link to my profile in Microsoft Learn. How many courses or learning paths have you taken? I've done more than 26, so I'm going to put more than 26. Again, be honest about this. Don't say you've done more than you've actually done. And then you need to add a link to your transcript. Now, your transcript, again, you're going to go to Microsoft Learn. You're going to click on your profile picture, click on profile, and then on the left-hand side on the bottom there, you click on transcript. Now, when you click on transcript, you'll be able to see your transcript, all your achievements in the web page, and at the bottom you've got view all if you've got more. But that's, you're not going to add a link to this page. What you need to do is go to print, and at the top for destination, you're going to go to save as PDF. Now that's going to create a PDF, and you're going to click save right there, that button there. Once you've done that, once it actually loads your transcript, you're going to click the save button, and you're going to tell it where to save. Now I've already saved mine, and you need to place that transcript inside your OneDrive. So you can see I'm in my OneDrive folder here, and I've got a couple of versions of my transcript. There it is. I'm in my OneDrive folder, and I'm going to right click on the file on my transcript, share, change the settings to can view, and I'm just going to click on copy to generate a link, a shareable link. Click on copy, and I'm going to put that link now back into my application for my nomination form, and now whoever's going to be reviewing my nomination has access to my transcript. Please don't modify the file name or delete it, because they won't have access. Okay, now here you've got some some questions where you're going to say a little bit about, you know, what kind of technologies you use, how often you use them. So let's just have a quick glance through these. How often do you use the following Microsoft 365 tools? So you can go through this list here, all of these here, and you're just going to click whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, rarely, or never. Again, be honest. I'm not going to do all of these for you. I use things, you know, some are often. I've only answered one. I'm not going to answer all of them. I use MakeCode quite regularly. So I'm going to say there monthly. It's not that regular, but monthly. Hacking STEM, very rarely. And Microsoft Imagine Academy, we don't actually, but we will be. And I should actually put here right now, never. But just for an example, I'm just going to put here or what am I choosing? Let's go for daily. Okay, but because next year we will be offering the MOS examinations to students. How often do you use the following features? You're going to go through that. How often do you and your learners use these features in Microsoft Edge browser? So this is to do with Microsoft Edge. I use, you know, I use the inking quite a bit. How many Flipgrid virtual field trips have you joined the past 6 months? 0. How many Grid Pal connections? Again, 0. You have to be honest about this. I haven't had any. Now, through the immersive reading and learning tool, students can. Now, here are some questions where you have to answer. You have to have knowledge about some of these things. I'm not going to give you the answers to these because that's just defeating the purpose of being a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert. You should be using these technologies. You should know how to use them. So you need to answer these, and this is going to be phase A, let's say. So if you don't pass this phase, your nomination will not go to phase B, and that is the long answer questions. So this is going to be the first. Now, some people actually get an email saying that they passed phase A and they've gone to phase B, or the second part of the nomination. But if you don't get these correct, then your application won't basically go through to this stage, which is the long answer questions. Now, these long answer questions are the ones which are a little bit more difficult than the rest of the application. There are 4 questions here and one section right there where you have to put a link to an artifact from a student. So let's have a look at the first one. Describe how you leverage Microsoft tools to increase accessibility for learners in your classroom. What tools do you use and how do they support different learning needs? Well, here you can talk about things like using Microsoft Teams so you can distribute work, make work accessible. You can say about using assignments in Microsoft Teams to give differentiated work to different student groups, whether, you know, they've got learning difficulties or that maybe they're gifted and they want something to challenge them more. You can put, for example, the submission of work. Again, it could be through Teams, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be a document, it could be using OneNote, it could be absolutely any piece of work that they do, take a picture of, so that you're allowing students to express themselves and to be able to produce the work that the way they're more comfortable with. So this all comes down to you, how you're making, you know, work and learning accessible to your students. Okay, the next part is all about a series of lessons or units or project you did with your learners that incorporates Microsoft technology for improved learning outcomes. What 21st century learning design skills were included in the learning, and explain in detail how those skills were developed. So this is all about learning and understanding the 21st century learning design skills. So I'm going to add a link to the video which I've created all about becoming a Microsoft certified educator, because that's all about the 21st century learning design skills. I'm also going to give you a link in the description again to the learning path in Microsoft Learn so you get a good understanding. And I'm going to give you a link again in the description with the OneNote that you can download talking about the 6 skill sets required for 21st century learning design. So here you're going to write a series of a unit of work that you've done, and you're going to break that work down and just identify the skills which are, and the level of each skill. For example, knowledge construction, communication, collaboration, self-regulation, all these things, and just say what level they're at. And again, be honest. So if you don't know what the 21st century learning design skills are, you really do need to go over that. The chances are you're using them, you just don't know that you're using them because you don't know what they are. So having a look at that OneNote that I'm going to give you is really going to help you a lot to understand the 6 skill sets, and that way you can identify a piece of work or a project or a series of work that you've done which has actually incorporated those skills so that the students can actually develop those skills. So yeah, that one's probably one of the hardest ones to answer if you don't know the 21st century learning design skills. And if you haven't done the MCE exam, I strongly suggest that you do. It's a fantastic course. And if you don't want to take the exam, just do the learning path in Microsoft Learn. Again, the link will be in the description. So in this next one where it says provide a link, an example of learning artifact from a project, your learners completed using Microsoft tools. Well, here what you need to do, you need to get a piece of work or pieces of work that your students have done to show evidence that they've done some work, and that work is you're going to describe in the next question. So keep in mind that this artifact and the next question, the third long answer question, go together. The first and second one are independent, but this one and this one are together. Okay, so you're going to get that artifact, you're going to put it inside OneDrive, create a link to it just like we did with our transcript, and you're going to paste the link in this box here. Okay, and then once you've done that, in the next question, this question here, you're going to describe what the artifact is, the result of the student learning, and how it demonstrates the design learning objectives and how Microsoft tools were a critical part of the learning. So I'll give you an example. In my one, what I did, I taught my students the difference between binary numbers and denary numbers, and I taught them how to convert denary numbers into binary. Then we took an Excel spreadsheet, I put a list of denary numbers and they converted them into binary. Then those binary numbers, the ones and zeros, were represented in Minecraft as black and white blocks. And by stacking them up, it would actually generate a picture if they did the conversion from denary to binary numbers correctly. So that artifact that they gave me was it was the end result in Minecraft, the build of the black and white blocks. And if the picture was correct, it basically meant that they got the answers correct. So again, you need to think carefully about the artifacts that you're going to use, and make sure they actually, the description that you give is basically explains those learning outcomes. So this last one here, now this is share two examples of how you have supported both your own learning and the learning and growth of your colleagues. Describe the activities that you completed and led and how it resulted in better teaching and learning. So it may be that first of all, you've probably done some courses in Microsoft Learn. You may have followed some seminars. You may have followed some training with a certified trainer. You may have, let's say, department meetings where you showcase work that you've done, things that work, things that didn't work, some skills that you may have developed using some tools, some technology, or some skills that somebody else has developed and they've shown to you. How have you actually shared your knowledge and what you know with others, essentially? And remember, that's what being an MIE expert is all about. A community of innovative educator experts sharing, so we don't all have to reinvent the wheel. So, you know, whether you've followed some courses, you've done some training, you write that down. If you've actually given some training, maybe you've done some workshops, maybe in departmental meetings you've given some knowledge or described some skills to some other colleagues. Maybe you've had a new colleague in your department. Maybe within your department you've got a team where you share good practices and things like this. These are things that you need to put down in that section there. These questions here, they don't have limits. There used to be, I think, a 500 character limit or a minimum. You don't have anything here describing in any of the questions any kind of limit, and you can write as much as you want, but you need to be, you know, a little bit detailed about your explanations here. So I'll just put in some random text here just so you can see the amount of text that you can put in here. There really isn't a limit, so I'm just copy pasting a whole load of text here. Let's just see what else I've got. Let's see how far this goes. Okay, and you can expand these boxes as well. There you go. You see, so there's a whole load of text here, and it scrolls up as well. Okay, look at all that text. So you don't really have a limit. You don't want to go absolutely crazy and write pages and pages and pages, but you don't want to write a paragraph, because there's no way you can actually describe anything like that. Okay, so this last tick box here basically says that if you are accepted into the MIE Experts group or program, do you want to be added to the Microsoft Teams group with all the other MIE experts? Well, I really don't see why you wouldn't want that. I mean, remember, the whole idea of MIE Experts is to actually be a part of community where we all share and learn from each other. So yeah, I would take that. Okay, so you're going to save, you can save and submit, or you can save your progress. So if you haven't finished yet, then you're going to click on Save Progress. and you'll be able to come back to your nomination and do it again. Now you do have the buttons at the bottom and you also have them at the top as well. So I just added some random text there so you can see that it's going to save that text. And there we go. So I'm just going to go there and click on Save Progress. And what I'm going to do next is, again, I'm going to sign out. Okay, and I'm just going to sign in again. It's actually going to remember me, but it doesn't matter. So you can see here now that I've got my profile at the top where it's got Nick Buffett is there. I can edit my personal information, and at the bottom there, edit nomination. Okay, so if I click on edit nomination, there we go. I can go back to my nomination. You can see my answers have been saved. And if you go down to the text area, you can see that random piece of text that I put there. So it actually kept that text for me. I do suggest though putting those long answer questions in the Word document. It's just much easier. Now when you save and submit your work, so once you've finished, I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. This is my own account. So if you look here, it's got here edit nomination. It doesn't say that edit nomination, that's an older one which I haven't completed. This one here that says view application, well, that's one that I've submitted. So once you've submitted, you can't edit it again. You can go, however, you will get a confirmation by email, and you can go here and go to print a confirmation that you've actually completed your nomination. Now, some people get an email confirming that they passed the first stage, which is basically the questions. I personally didn't get that email, but if you do pass that section, your application does go through to the next part of the nomination process. So if you don't get that email, I wouldn't worry. Okay, so good luck with your nomination process. I hope this video helped you. Remember, I've got the links at the bottom for the learning path for the 21st Century Learning Design Skills. I've got the link for the OneNote for the 21st Century Learning Design Skills, and I've also got the link for the 21st Century Learning Design Skills in Learning, Microsoft Learn, so that you can go and do that learning path. I hope this helped. Make sure you click like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.